Let me know when we're live. Just text me live. We're live. Okay, let me know when we get to 1,000. That's basically what I do. My audience already knows that I wait to get to 1,000 until I start. So let me know. All right, out there, we're going to wait till we get to 1,000 people. I'm going to explain to you the electoral map and how it is that Trump, let me see, we're at 500. We'll wait to get to 1,000 as always, and we're at 1,000. All right, thank you very much. Text me if there's any difficulties. All right, I'm dealing with mission control here. Okay, so yesterday, during my walk and talk with you, I explained to you that the media and the Democrats have nothing left. There's nothing left on Trump. If they had something, if they had that big, huge surprise that was going to blow up the election, she would have already put it out. And basically, at this point, what's left, right? There's nothing. They've tried everything. Nothing is knocking this guy off his perch. We're in a really good position to flow right into Election Day. If they did have something on him, something blockbuster-like, they would have released it already because her momentum is almost going in reverse. She's in panic mode. They're all in panic mode. And as I told you yesterday, and I knocked it out of the park because I was dead right, just like I did 2 days before that when I told you that Trump would officially, on Monday, I told you Trump would officially take the lead in a major national poll. Next day, what happens? ABC News that had him 12 points behind the week before, boom, he's up a point. So believe me, I know what I'm talking about. I get good information. I read the charts. I look at the data. I put all the different equations in that I have been doing now for a while, and that's how I come up with those answers. Now, yesterday I told you because they have nothing left to try to deflate Trump, they're going to start telling you that although he may win the popular vote, there's no way he could win the Electoral College, and thus Hillary Clinton's going to be the next president. I listen to this time and again. Even Fox News is typically going down the path of, well, how is he going to do this? I am telling you, it is complete BS. So what I wanted to do today, and I'm giving it to you straight from our new studio, we're not completely ready yet, but this is enough. I'm going to show you how it is that Trump is going to get to 270 if he just stays on message. And I'm going to back it up with different reasons why. Okay, so we're going to get started now. First of all, a few things you need to know, and I have my notes here. Democrats tend to do the early voting. So if you've got a pool right now of 20 million people who have done the early voting, most of them are Democrats. They get out there, they're voting for Hillary, etc., so forth. Republicans or conservatives tend to wait till Election Day. So you've got to plug that into the equation. Another thing, because there is no momentum for Hillary, there are going to be some people who are just going to stay home. She needs a huge turnout in order to beat Trump. She's not going to get that huge turnout. And one of her voter blocks that is completely alienating her is the black vote. The black vote, the blacks are not excited about Hillary Clinton. She doesn't get that turnout, she's got herself a massive problem, and that's the way it's tending to go. Now, there's another thing that these polls do not take into consideration at all, and these people are smart enough that where they should take it into consideration, but they don't, because they want to, keep you tuned in with the fear factor of, oh my God, Trump's not going to win, and number two is, all these people, as far as I'm concerned, are in the bag for Hillary, and that is this. Donald Trump has lit a spark in people who have not voted in decades and in some cases their entire life. People are coming out of the woodwork. These people are not polled because typically polls are done with what's called likely voters. These are people who have voted in the past. So think of all your friends that have said, I'm voting for Trump. I haven't voted in 20 years. Or I haven't voted my whole life. They're not getting the phone call from ABC News and having the pollsters asking the questions. That's a huge factor. These people don't understand early voting per se. They just understand that on that Tuesday, they're going to go out and they're going to pull the lever at the local school, the local fire department, and that's that. That is not being accounted for when you hear all this BS about the electoral map and who's going to show up and who's not going to show up. Now, last thing before I go into the map, understand something about the WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks is doing this slow drip, drip, drip. So this way it stays in the news. But for the longest time, the news wasn't covering the WikiLeaks. They were going into Donald's, all these women who were saying that he was doing this and doing that, and that was taking the headlines. But that garbage didn't work. And now WikiLeaks is starting to put out things that are more potent than they were last week and the week before that. Just today, we found out, you'll find it on DennisMichaelLynch.com, that one of the key guys at the Department of Justice was leaking information about the email servers and the whole investigation to John Podesta and the Clinton campaign. This guy now is spearheading the next investigation. It's total corruption, and there's no way that the message is not going to get out there, especially if you share videos like this. Those undecided voters hear about this and they just say, I can't vote for this woman. That's the way that this is going to trend. Now, let's take a look at the electoral map. There are so many different people who put out these maps. So I'm going based on this guy Sabato. You always see him. He's from the University of Virginia. He's always on Fox all the time. I'm going to explain to you how this map works. Right now they have it as 293 Clinton, 173 Trump. Listen to this. First of all, the deep blue states are one where everybody agrees you're going to give it to Hillary. The deep red states are the ones you're going to give it to Donald. The light red and the light blue, like in Nevada, are ones where they think it's going to tend this way or tend that way, and trend that way. And then you've got the gray outs, the one where they say, oh, we just don't know. That's the one, that's the stuff right there where they are just BSing you through the camera screen, okay? So I'm going to show you how Donald Trump is going to get to 270 and how and why it is that everything I tell you here you can feel comfortable about. We're going to start with the gray area, okay? Let's start with Arizona. Arizona down here has 11 electoral votes. John McCain is winning his election hands down. John McCain is not a guy who many conservatives and Republicans, for that matter, are in favor for. He is usually considered a rhino, and yet he's winning in a big way his Senate race. They are using Arizona because Arizona is a battlefield for illegal aliens coming over. I am telling you, Trump is going to win this state hands down. Of all the friends that I have made over the past 10 years in doing what I'm doing, Texas and Arizona. And when I talk to my friends in Arizona, they tell me, Dennis, I don't hear anybody saying that they're going to vote for Hillary Clinton. And a lot of these people, they're just waiting for election day and they will pull that lever so you could be assured that he is winning Arizona. There's no question. Take that out. Number two, they are graying out Ohio. They have it gray. And yet that's ridiculous. The reason why they have it grayed out is because they realize the fact that Ohio, except for twice in like the last 100 and something years, have always picked the president. Well, if they give that to Ohio now on television, everybody's going to realize that, and that's going to be the narrative. That, oh, Ohio is already picking for Trump, we're going to put that into the red. Game's over. So that's why they keep it in the gray. Right now, if you look at polls, Trump is winning in Ohio. I mean, why aren't they giving it to him? I just explained it to you. So now take Ohio and put that red. Now you start to see this number change. He's now at 202. Next place, Florida. Florida is a huge state. If you don't win Florida, it's very, very hard, if not impossible, to win the presidency. Right now, Trump is winning in Florida by a point, but keep in mind what I started off with. I started off with the fact that most of the people who are going to vote early are going to be Democrats, right? And I told you all about the different stuff here about people coming out for the first time. That benefits Trump. So if you've got them in a neck-and-neck race, who's going to benefit on election day? It's going to be Trump. So very easily, confident, I mark this as red. No doubt. And now look what you got. Oh, and if you want a little bit of, what would you say? A little bit of icing for that cake, let's keep in mind that if Florida was so blue, we have a Republican governor and Marco Rubio, despite him not showing up for Senate votes more than any other senator, he was neglectful in his voting. He's winning his race. So there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to vote for Trump. Not only that, when I talk about the people I've met along the way, you go to Florida and ask people if they can get a job if they don't speak Spanish, and they will tell you straight out, I can't get a job. You think those people are voting for Hillary? Not a chance. Next, we go to Iowa. Iowa, every other last poll has been, every other last electoral college map, they're starting to make that light red. Sabato is keeping it as a gray out. I have been to Iowa. These are the salt of the earth Americans. There is no way these people are voting for Hillary Clinton in large numbers. Now, I know you could say Obama did well there, but this is a different story. Hillary comes with dishonesty and baggage. Trump comes with, he comes with his own stuff. But when you look at Trump and you look at Hillary, he is the far better person of the two. I was in Iowa and watched all the different Republican candidates at the time give speeches. All of them were there. I was there too. They didn't let me speak. Donald Trump and Walker, Governor Walker, were the two guys who emerged out of that group. And Trump hadn't even announced yet. They still weren't taking him seriously. But when I was there talking to people, you know what they said to me? Wow, I could see myself voting for him. He was good. I thought he was just going to be like a clown. He's up there. He has some really good ideas. Believe me when I tell you, Iowa is going red. Now all of a sudden we're at 237. Now we go over to Utah. Again, this is the media playing with you, getting you to come back in because they need another headline to keep you going like this on the channel changer. Make sure you're coming in, tune in, because this kid, what's his name, McMullen, the independent, is going to take Utah. No, that's untrue. That is untrue. That was a poll, a few small polls that you took a look at. Trump is winning Utah. Are the Mormons happy with Trump? Of course not. Are they going to take Hillary? Absolutely no. Are you kidding? So this guy McMullen, let's say for instance he did win. Okay, let's say he won that state, and because he wins that state, nobody gets to the 270. Well, Congress then elects the president. You think the people from Utah and the House and the Senate are going to vote for Hillary? It's ridiculous. It's nothing more than a headline grabber. This guy is irrelevant. Trump will take Utah. The fact that they don't have this red supports everything else that I have said to you so far, that it's just a total scam that they pull on the news, so this way you tune in. Now we're up to 243 when you give them to Utah. Now we switch to the light blue states. First and foremost, we go to Nevada. They got this thing blue. The polls right now say that it's a neck and neck tie in Nevada. Go back to the beginning of what I told you. More Republicans will vote at the end, people coming off the sidelines. And what is the number one topic for Donald Trump? It's been since the day he came down those escalators. Immigration. When you look across the country, the state with the most illegal aliens per capita is Nevada. Nevada is going to be voting for Donald Trump. No doubt, no question. I'll bank 90% of the money in my pocket that Nevada is going for Trump. The only reason why I don't do 100% is because I don't trust Harry Reid, and that's where he's from. So we changed that to red. Now you start to see the numbers are really starting to change. Next, we go to New Hampshire. New Hampshire, he has it, Sabato has New Hampshire as blue, and he's got it dark blue. He has that as dark blue because he's taking the poll data that he's getting now early of people who are coming out early. I am telling you, I have been to New Hampshire. I have been to the rallies there. I went there as a potential candidate and gave a speech where people were going to vote for Cruz. Again, this is before Trump announced, but we knew Cruz was going to do it. I had people come up to me and give me checks that they were going to give Ted Cruz and gave to me. Why? Two reasons. Immigration and drugs. When you look at the states that have been impacted by the heroin in this country, it's all the states. But New Hampshire has been hit harder from the standpoint of where it used to be and where it is today. And they're not just getting the drugs coming in from the southern border, they're getting it coming in through Canada. And yes, drugs pour in through Canada all day long. I've been up there, I've covered this stuff, I know what I'm talking about. You go to New Hampshire, that's what they talk to you about. We're losing our children to heroin. You look at the polls right now, New Hampshire is neck and neck. I'm giving that to Trump because I believe the person who may be undecided, when they go in there and they close that curtain, they're going to ask themselves this question: who is going to stop the drugs from flowing into my state? Trump. Turn it from blue, light blue, to red. Now you're at 253 to 283. Here's the big one. Pennsylvania. They got that blue because she needs them to have that blue. And yes, Pennsylvania has in the past gone Democratic for the president. But you have to understand a few things. Number one, the polls right now show that it's neck and neck. Number two, Pennsylvania being right next to Ohio, you look at cities like Pittsburgh, they have been annihilated by losing industry and losing manufacturing and losing jobs. So these people are looking at their wallet. And so when they say, who's going to bring me new jobs, Hillary or Donald Trump? Again, they pull that screen, and when they pull the lever, they're not going to be thinking about women and their false allegations or their crazy stuff they're saying about how bad he is. They're not going to think about the Billy Bush video where Donald Trump, spoke like a fool for a few minutes. And they're not even going to probably think about WikiLeaks. They're going to think about who is going to bring back my jobs. And with any kind of common sense, you realize that you pick the businessman, the billionaire, to do that for you. I am telling you, Pennsylvania is going for Trump. Absolutely, definitely. Now what do you got? You got 273. She's at 263. And by the way, I haven't even taken the state of North Carolina. North Carolina, they've got right now to blue. Let me tell you something about North Carolina. I would be very surprised if that turns out to be Hillary Clinton. A few years ago, there was a study. I've already told you this about on one of my walk-in talks with you. There was a study of 26 states about voter fraud. Who was on the voter rolls? And North Carolina was involved in that study. They were the first one to publish the results. They came back and found that there were 35,000 people in North Carolina who voted. But people with the same name and birth date of somebody living in North Carolina voted in those other 25 states. Voter fraud galore. North Carolina tried to change the laws. They wanted to have voter ID. They did not want this sort of thing to go on. Now, if you don't want that sort of thing to go on, you obviously are leaning to the right, because the Democrats win when you have this sort of double voting scheme. That said, North Carolina likely will go to Trump. And right now they're battling. He's a little down, but with momentum and a bad WikiLeaks, boom, that goes the other way. So even without North Carolina, you've got 273 for Trump. You want to change that over and you want to put that into red, he's got 288 to 248. This map right here, this is probably what you're going to see. And you could just give this, you could give Maine to Hillary. This is probably what you're going to see on election night, with maybe I'm wrong on North Carolina. Maybe. You still got a Trump victory. So this is what you do. I'm not scripted. I'm not reading off a teleprompter. There's probably a couple things along the way that I'll say, oh, damn, I forgot to tell them. You got states like Wisconsin, right? Where it's also showing incredible momentum for Trump. Now, I don't want to go out on a limb here and say it's going to be a blowout, because I don't believe it's going to be a blowout. But I'm telling you right now, the narrative they're giving you that he cannot win the Electoral College is garbage. And remember this, if there's nothing else I say to you, this is what you should hear. All of these people, all of them, every single last one of them, except for yours truly, and I would have to go back and listen to the tapes from June of last year with Hannity. None of these people, none of them thought Donald Trump would be where he was today. They thought he was a joke. They thought that he was just doing it for a publicity stunt. They laughed at everything. They blew him off constantly, and time and again, they tried to come up with one thing after the next. Oh, he said this, and he said that, and he's this, and he's that. And the only thing that happened was this man continued to get stronger. The only time he has ever lost any momentum is when it has been self-inflicted, when he lets himself go off on a tangent and just starts talking about stuff that is irrelevant. He hasn't done that. He has been solid. He's on message. He's talking about Obamacare and immigration and making America great again. She is on her heels. She is trying to figure out how she deals with a potential indictment and still try to win the election. The American people see this. If Donald Trump stays for the next 6 days on message and doesn't give the mainstream media a single soundbite to run aside from Obamacare, immigration, ISIS, jobs, taxes, he wins this hands down. I guarantee it to you. And I would pretty much say that the people in the media already know this is true. They already know this is true. And they're trying to figure out how the hell they're going to deal with the Trump presidency. And that includes the GOP, who wants nothing to do with that man. They don't want him in there. They just want him to make sure that he helps that the Senate and the House, that we keep it. They're okay with a Hillary presidency for a couple of years because they think they'll throw Paul Ryan in or somebody else 4 years from now. They don't want Trump. The media doesn't want Trump. But at this point, I think they all realize the fact that this map is real. Trust me. Your job is to share this. You have to share this. Let people hear an alternative voice to the garbage that says she's going to be at 300 and he's barely going to breathe on election night. Let people see the other way that this can go. They need that, especially the undecided voter and the Trumper. The Trumper who may be losing some of his or her fire inside. Now, I know you're not one of those people, but there are people I have talked to. I have talked to them in the streets who say, I'm concerned he can't win the Electoral College. You know who put that into their brain? The media. Nobody walks around daily and thinks about the Electoral College. Most people don't even know what the Electoral College is. But now people are talking about it because the media is putting it in their head. You have to take it out. Share the video or you're not doing your job. That's basically it. And go to DennisMichaelLynch.com and register your email address so this way we could stick together. And oh, by the way, our studio will be completely done in the next couple of days and we'll be broadcasting to you live for 3 hours on election night. I hope you're here with me during that night. It'll be great. I'm going to be showing you different videos along the way over my past 10 years of people I met and why it is that Trump is the president we need. All right? So that being said, God bless you. God bless our troops. God bless America. God bless the Electoral College, that it's going to look like that on election night. All right, Mission Control, you can cut us. Thank you.